Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar about the Home Energy Score. The Oregon Department of Energy is offering the Oregon Home Energy Score program to illustrate a home's energy efficiency and energy use to homeowners and home buyers. My name is John Spillman. I work for Earth Advantage as a senior technical consultant, and Earth Advantage has developed this presentation to inform Oregon real estate professionals about the Oregon Home Energy Score. Before we get started, I just want to tell you this webinar today is an hour long. I have a lot of material to cover, so we'll be taking questions afterwards. You can enter questions into the question area of GoToMeeting, and those will be passed along to us at Earth Advantage, and we'll answer those afterwards and send out a follow-up email that has answers to the questions that you ask, as well as a copy of the slide deck that we're looking at today that has many live links in it to resources that will be helpful for you when working with the Oregon Home Energy Score. In addition to that, I have also provided an email address at the end of the presentation where you can send in questions after the webinar. So let's go ahead and get started. So why a home energy score? Well, this new voluntary program is being offered statewide by Oregon Department of Energy. When working with clients who are shopping for a home, the home energy score will be helpful to identify energy efficient homes in your area and provide useful information about the home for buyers. And as a listing agent, you can use this new tool to help market the energy efficiency of a home. A home energy score can help home buyers, sellers, and owners have access to home energy use info that is credible and easy to understand. And it allows home buyers to have insight into the full costs of owning a home, not just the monthly PITI, but what they can expect in utility costs in one easy to understand format. A home energy score helps home buyers and sellers because it's third-party verified, which makes it reliable and an easy way to understand a home's energy performance. The home energy score reports are also affordable and cost much less than most comprehensive home audits because the inspection and data entry takes only about an hour and a half on average, compared to 4 to 5 hours for a standard energy audit. Now, the score is available and applies to any single family home or townhome if the townhome is in a side-by-side configuration. It's helpful for your clients because it can inform and showcase improvements, such as showing a seller cost-effective investments to improve their home score before they sell, and it helps the seller showcase energy improvements they've made to their home. And lastly, the score provides buyers with information on the home's energy use and features, which will allow them to have a more realistic picture of the full cost of owning any particular home that they're considering buying. So here's a quick look at what the Oregon Home Energy Report looks like. At the top, we can see the score and the average energy cost, annual energy costs. And this is an estimate of energy costs on a yearly basis based upon average use. And the home receives the energy score on a 1 through 10 scale, with 5 being equal to an average US home. And then on the second page of the report, it provides recommendations for improving the energy efficiency, the energy use, and of course the score. And this second page will always be included in the report unless it's a newly constructed home. And we'll look at the scorecard in more detail further in the webinar. So why does energy efficiency matter? Aside from lowering the use of our resources and saving energy for future generations, it of course helps the current homeowner in many ways. Improving residential energy efficiency helps obviously save money on energy bills, and saving families money on energy bills helps stabilize monthly home costs as energy prices change. But improving energy efficiency can also make homes healthier. It can help mitigate negative health impacts of poor indoor air quality in homes, and help prevent or remove things like mold, allergens, and pests. It can improve comfort by improving in-home comfort for home buyers and homeowners, renters. It provides a higher quality living experience in the home, which translates to happy and satisfied clients. And of course, using less energy produces less carbon emissions and reducing waste in our energy resources for future generations, and lowering carbon emissions to help mitigate climate change. And additionally, there are more benefits, such as fostering the growth of energy efficiency jobs in our local economy as we work to take advantage of the opportunity to improve the way our homes operate. And it can provide access to additional mortgage products for the current for the home buyer, which we'll cover later. And energy efficiency is becoming more and more relevant and important to home buyers. Realtors across the country report that energy efficiency is important to their clients, as we can see in this 2019 study conducted by the National Association of Realtors. 69% of realtors said that energy efficiency promotion in listings was valuable to their clients. And 77% of realtors said that a home's utility bills and operating costs are considered important to their clients. And 62% reported that they're not comfortable or they're unsure about answering clients' questions about home performance and energy efficiency. So the Home Energy Score tool, Home Energy Score, is a new tool that can help agents stay relevant and provide extra value and benefit to their clients. Using this tool to your client's advantage when buying and selling homes can be an excellent way to demonstrate that you are their trusted advisor. And as we talked about, the benefits earlier, home buyers may not always ask for energy efficiency, but if we think about all the other benefits, there's probably something in that list for just about every buyer. They may tell you they may not say they're looking for a high performance energy efficient home, but they may request it by a different name. For example, everybody wants to be healthy and nobody wants to live in a polluted, unhealthy home. And unfortunately, with a century of home building materials and techniques that use less healthy methods, many people end up living this way with poor indoor air quality. And we spend 90% of our time indoors, either at home or at work. And unfortunately, many of those indoor air environments are unhealthy. So recognizing the benefits of high performance homes and energy efficient homes with higher indoor air quality makes for a key selling point when communicating with clients. And of course, everybody wants comfort. Energy efficient and high performance homes are generally less drafty and have more even temperature levels throughout the home. And this comfortable air and temperature stays inside the energy efficient home right where we want it. Everybody wants quality, especially when they're shopping for such a large investment, probably one of the largest investments and purchases of their lives. Energy efficiency and high performance built into homes, first and foremost, translates to better quality, usually better than what's required by code. So the conversation can be about quality as well. Nobody wants to live with lower quality if they can afford higher quality. And that's why companies have always emphasized quality in their marketing. And everybody wants to make a smart investment. As I just mentioned, a home purchase is usually one of the largest investments everybody makes, and we all want to feel like we're making smart investments. So energy efficient, newly constructed energy efficient homes are built to last longer with less maintenance, and in many markets will also show a higher resale value depending on the demand and market volatility. So that translates again to a smart investment. And existing homes that have the opportunity, the potential for being improved with energy efficiency upgrades can also provide a pathway to enhance the investment made in a home by making the existing house better. So in fact, every home buyer is potentially an energy efficiency focused customer, even if they don't come outright and say it. And this is because high performance homes, energy efficient homes, is buying a higher quality house that offers a better living experience. So this is why energy efficiency matters, because it comes down to these key benefits that are really important to emphasize in your marketing when you're working with a home that has high levels of energy efficiency and performance. You want to focus on the health, comfort, the durability, environment, and of course the savings. And every home buyer will care about at least one, if not more, of one of these benefits. And of course, there's many benefits for emphasizing and trying to steer your clients towards energy efficient homes or help your sellers improve their homes for energy efficiency to you as a real estate professional. As you well know, the real estate professional plays a pivotal role in the US residential housing market, and that's because you provide trusted and influential guidance that affects the investment that they're making. And studies have shown that on average, energy costs are about $2,500 per year. So it's critical information for home buyers to understand before jumping into a home. Buyers need to access energy efficiency information that's credible and easy to understand. And understanding that home performance and energy savings and being able to explain it to your client is a powerful way to define your value. But you don't necessarily have to become an expert in energy efficiency. But what really matters is a working knowledge of the resources available, such as Home Energy Score and the programs that are out there for you to leverage. And Home Energy Score is one of these resources. And we can see on this slide all the benefits that you as a realtor can use and take advantage of when working with Home Energy Score to help your customers. So as a real estate professional, you can be the bridge between your clients and the energy information they want with Home Energy Score. Okay, so next up, we're going to have a look at how the Oregon Home Energy Score works. And let's start with terms to remember and use when you're communicating about the program and the score. First of all is the Home Energy Score, which is the score that's on the report. It's a 1 through 10 rating, and it's based upon the physical characteristics of the home. And then the Home Energy Report is the document that displays the score. So it provides a Home Energy Score, but it has additional information and can be commonly referred to as the report. And then there's the Home Energy Assessor, and this is the trained professional who is authorized to perform an in-home energy assessment and produce a Home Energy Score and Home Energy Report. And here's an overview of the organizations involved in the Oregon Home Energy Score program. First of all is the U.S. Department of Energy, who manages the Home Energy Score rating protocol, the trading requirements for the assessors, and the quality assurance guidelines. Oregon Department of Energy manages compliance to the Oregon specific Home Energy Performance Score requirements, the training credentials for the assessors, their CCB licensing, and sets the scorecard utility rates. And then Earth Advantage implements the program quality assurance on behalf of Oregon Department of Energy and also offers training to the assessors who are going to become an authorized Home Energy Score assessor. So once again, here are the types of structures that are eligible for receiving an Oregon Home Energy Score. And as I mentioned earlier, that's a single family detached home or side-by-side townhomes are also eligible to receive a score. If you have a townhome where there's a stacked situation where there is a different unit on the first floor with another one over on the second floor, or below, above or below in a stacked configuration, the software is not configured to do an energy model on that type of a building. So side by side attached townhomes or single family homes. So of course that rules out stacked units and condos. It also does not apply to, it will not apply for manufactured homes or mobile homes. Now the program, the Oregon Home Energy Report, as I mentioned in the introduction, is a voluntary program statewide. Outside of Portland, it's voluntary to take advantage of, use for helping to market the home. Within the city of Portland, it is a mandatory program. So we see the two maps here to clearly delineate where it's mandatory and where it's voluntary. So it is literally within the city limits of Portland that the Home Energy Score program is mandatory to have a report and a score included in the listing at time of sale. But outside of the city of Portland, completely voluntary. So now in this section, we're going to go over the Home Energy Report and Score in more detail. So once again, here is page 1 of the report. It provides the score and the estimated energy costs, shows the energy use, breaks down the energy use by the different types of utilities that are serving the home, and provides the score at the top. At the bottom of the scorecard, it also has information about the home's carbon footprint, which is based upon the energy use estimate for the home on an annual basis. And as I mentioned, all homes will receive page 1 of this report. Newly constructed homes will receive only page 1, whereas existing homes will have page 1 and on the backside page 2, which includes the recommendations and target score. So here's a close-up of a couple of the areas on page 1 where we have at the top the score displayed in this particular example, home with 6, and then it shows the 1 through 10 scale, identifies 5 as the average score, 1 being a home that uses more energy, and a 10 being, 1 being a home that uses more energy, and a 10 being a home that uses less energy, with 5 being average, and then shows today's score for this particular home. The score, as it says here, is based upon standardized assumptions. So it's using standardized thermostat settings, the way people would live in the home, the number of people living in the home, and then estimates the energy based upon average weather year for the home's location. The way the score is calculated is the home assessor engages with the homeowner and goes directly to the home and does a walkthrough of the home, recording energy-related characteristics as they inspect the home. They then take those inputs and input that data into a software tool that is created by the U.S. Department of Energy to calculate the home's energy score. And the tool does assume average behavior of the home occupants, average weather, as I said, and then the software calculates an energy estimate on an annual basis, which then results in the score on the 1 through 10 scale. So the scores based on a comparison of that theoretical home that received a 5, which is an average national house. The software adjusts the energy use of the whole scale prediction by simulating how that average house would use energy in any particular climate zone. So depending on your zip code within the state of Oregon, it will adjust the scale based upon the local weather on historical weather data. So the scale is customized for each location. So in our state, we have 2 climate zones. We have Marine 4 west of the Cascades and Climate Zone 5 east of the Cascades. And that, of course, is because of the winter being more severe east of the Cascades. So the scale, the 1 through 10 scale, would have has been adjusted differently for homes in Climate Zone 4 versus Climate Zone 5. So a home in Eugene, the scale would be different than the home located in Bend, Redmond area. So how to interpret scores and have an understanding of how this score assignment works within the Home Energy Score tool, we'll look at a few examples here of distributions, typical distributions, and these are provided by U.S. Department of Energy to illustrate what a typical distribution looks like in any particular area. This is not specific to Oregon or the city of Portland. But what we see here is how the homes are scored relative to other homes in the area. And just like how teachers will grade students on a curve, we see a typical bell curve distribution of the homes and how much energy they use. The energy use and the number of homes within that particular category are represented by the gray bar. So these are all number of homes. And then along the bottom, we have the 1 through 10 scale. So this is this scale, as I mentioned, would be adjusted depending on the location and the historic weather. So, as I mentioned, the homes that receive a 1 are in the lowest 15th percentile statistically, or in other words, 85% of all the other homes in the area will use less energy than the home that received a 1. The homes that earn a 5 are in the 50th percentile, right in the middle of the local market, and we can consider this an average home compared to all other homes in the area. And then conversely, the homes that earn a 10 are in the 90th percentile of the distribution. So this home uses less energy than 90% of all the other homes in the area. So what makes an above average home energy score, homes that score a 6 through 10, how does a home achieve that? Let's look at some of the common features that we would find and which are evaluated by the assessor and put into the software to calculate the energy use and score. So homes that score higher than average will likely have these feature characteristics. They'll have efficient heating, cooling, and ventilation systems, and they'll have properly sealed ducts connected to those systems so that there is not energy waste happening. All of the conditioned air is actually being delivered to the space in an efficient manner. They'll definitely have improved insulation levels. So they'll have high levels of insulation installed in the attics, the walls, and the floors. And they'll have tighter construction of the building envelope, which is the ceiling plane, the walls, and the floor again, will not be leaking air, not be leaking energy to the outside. So this really translates into higher levels of energy efficiency and lower energy use. And this is normally evaluated by a blower door test. But the test is not required for this score. It can be estimated by the software. So this is one of the things that helps keep the cost down for home energy score assessment, is the fact that the testing is not required, but it is optional. Whereas for a full energy audit that is much more comprehensive, will have a lot more testing and consequently a lot more cost associated with it. It'll have efficient hot water heating systems in place. And it may also have solar PV systems. So the software does have the ability to take into consideration the size of the system, the orientation, number of panels and everything, and come up with an estimate based upon where the home's located of how much energy would be produced by the solar system, and that will be considered in the overall energy equations for the energy use of the home and help improve the score. So those are the types of things that we would find in a home that scores higher than average on the 6 through 10 scale. The home energy score is an asset-based score, and the report is also asset-based. And this is a very important point that you really want to understand so that you can explain it to your clients and customers. It's a key takeaway, what an asset-based report is and what that means. And that is that the score is rating the home and not the homeowner. And that's why it's called an asset score. It rates how the home and its characteristics and the structure and systems within it perform under standard operating conditions. And the standard operating conditions are average number of people living in the home based upon the size and the number of bedrooms, and that they have average occupant behavior and energy use, and that the weather year is average based upon historical weather data for the location. So that means that the current homeowner nor any future homeowner will affect the score in any way. The only way the score will change is if the home's attributes, like the insulation, the mechanical systems, or perhaps the air leakage, are changed through upgrades. And when that happens, it's important to have a second score so that you can capture that value and demonstrate that value to potential buyers of the improvements made to the home. And the reason the score is asset-based, why did Home Energy Score, why was it designed that way? Well, that's so that it can be used to compare two homes in an apples to apples way, just like we can with cars using the miles per gallon. So the miles per gallon rating says that your actual mileage may vary, and that's going to be true with Home Energy Score. If somebody has their utility data and their bills, it may or may not match it exactly. It's going to demonstrate how the home would perform with regard to energy use in an average way. And that's so we can do this apples to apples comparison once there's scores in the marketplace and people are shopping for homes. They can look at the Home Energy Score from the homes that's on their short list and take that into consideration of how much it's going to cost to operate it. And here's an example of 3 homes that were built relatively within 10 or 11 years of each other in the early 20th century. And they all have similar square footages. But when you look at the annual energy cost, you can see it varies significantly. And when we look at it on a 10-year basis, if someone was going to own this home for 10 years, it would be nearly double the cost in energy cost to operate the home. So that's how it can be very helpful when taking into consideration, can we afford this home, and is it an energy efficient home, or is it using a lot of energy? And because the score is asset-based, based upon the average conditions, as I mentioned, homeowners should not expect the utility cost to exactly match the estimated cost in the score. So there is a statement in the box, at the bottom right down here, I'll blow it up a little bit so we can read it, where it says actual energy use and costs may vary on the occupant behavior and other factors. So that's why it's a key takeaway. Somebody may ask you, what are these factors? And because you've taken this class today, now you have a working understanding to help homeowners understand what this score means and what it represents. So what if a home gets a below average energy score? Well, below average energy score doesn't mean that the home is poorly built. A beautiful high quality home can still get a below average score if the square footage is high and it uses more energy. So it's below average, it really just means there is an opportunity here for making some cost-effective improvements to lower the energy use and the cost of operating the home. And the reason we have some pictures of these vehicles here is because you could think of home energy score similar to the miles per gallon rating, which does a good job of setting consumer expectations when they're shopping for cars. So the home energy score can do the same. If we have take these two cars, for example, we have the Cadillac, which has a 15 miles per gallon rating, and the Toyota with a 53 miles per gallon rating. They're typically going to be two different market segments. They wouldn't necessarily be shopping and doing an apples to apples comparison here, but it does provide a clear explanation of what the operating costs may be. And as I said, it doesn't necessarily mean that one of these vehicles is poorly built. They're both going to be great cars to own, but they're going to have higher operating costs. So that's going to be true with a very large home versus a very small home, and two homes with the equivalent mechanical equipment, insulation, windows, and everything, but with different sizes will usually result in the larger home receiving a lower score than the smaller one, and it's simply because the score is based upon annual energy use. As I said, it's not a judgment on the home, it's just providing information that the home has opportunity. And this is also not to say that large homes will always receive a below average score. We are managing the program for the city of Portland, and we have over 14,000 scores in our database, and we are seeing many examples of larger homes over 3,000 square feet, which are receiving above average scores. So that it is possible to have more square footage with higher energy efficient features and a high score. Okay, so let's have a little closer look now at the second page of the report, which I mentioned is always included for existing homes, and for newly constructed homes, it'll just be page 1. So on page 2, it focuses on how the home can be improved to use less energy and potentially earn a higher score. So let's zero in a little bit on the center section here so we can see what the recommendations area looks like. The upgrade recommendations are going to be unique to each home based upon the characteristics that the assessor put into the software. So the software will generate recommendations and make and suggest what the opportunities are for having simple payback of 10 years or less, or in other words, a cost-effective recommendation. And those are going to be listed in the section labeled priority energy improvements. And you can even see it says 10-year payback or less. Now the report will also make some recommendations for opportunities to improve the home, which may have a slightly higher payback period than 10 years, but are still worth considering. And those will be in the additional energy improvement section. So you see in this example, it's saying that for this home, that the attic insulation and cathedral ceiling insulation are recommended for a 10-year payback or less. And then duct sealing and whole house air sealing is being suggested as an additional energy improvement. So then we have just above this section, we see this information displayed on page 2, and it will show the score today in the left corner, and then it shows a target score just next to it, and it's saying this is what the score of the home could be if all the priority improvements are installed. So those are those improvements that we see with the 10-year payback or less at the top of the screen. So if everything was installed in the priority improvements, you could improve the score to that target score. In addition to improving the score, you would also realize estimated energy savings, in this example of $285 per year, and a carbon reduction of 19% based upon decreasing that energy use. And just below that, there are also some action steps provided for the homeowner. First one being checked off, you've gotten your energy assessment, and then the next thing you would want to do is consider these energy improvements, select a contractor or two for comparison to obtain bids. And there's a list to a website on Oregon Department of Energy's webpage to learn more information about taking the next steps. So how does one obtain and market a home energy score? So we'll take a look at that next. Okay, so here's an overview. First of all, you want to help your clients when you're working with somebody selling a home or getting ready to sell a home, help your client find an authorized home energy score assessor. And then once the assessment's been done, review the report with your client, talk about the recommendations, what they can do to improve it, what the score means, and basically help them understand the report. And then you want to include the score as you market the home, because this can be a very powerful tool, as we've discussed. So you want to include the score on the MLS and any other online listing service you may be using. Depending on how the MLS service works, you may want to also upload a copy of the report if attachments are accepted by the listing service. You can also include it in your printed marketing materials. So I've got a few examples of three of the MLSs across the state of what you can actually do to include it, and we'll be looking at that in just a moment. So let's look at each of these steps in a little bit more detail. So first of all, help your client find an authorized assessor. So there is a list of authorized assessors available on the Earth Advantage website, and I've included a link right here in the slide deck, which will be live in the PDF when you get a copy of the slides. So the assessors must be trained and authorized to create the Oregon Department of Energy compliant home energy report. And the scores are also going to be reviewed for quality by a third-party entity, which is, as I mentioned earlier, our staff at Earth Advantage. So we do a 5% quality assurance check on each and every assessor working across the state of their assessments, where we actually go out to the house and do another assessment and compare and make sure that everything's being done properly. And this is why we can say that the home energy report is a reliable third-party verified. So cost and timing of the report. It's a good idea to engage the authorized assessor early in the listing process. They need a few days of lead time to go to the home and gather the information and create the report for you. So it's a good idea to start that early so that you have a copy of the assessment when it comes time to list the home. It takes on average about 1 to 1.5 hours to assess the home, enter the data in the software, and generate the scorecard. The data gathering at the home usually is about 45 minutes of that entire time process. Now, the market costs it's a free market program, so it's up to the assessor to charge whatever they deem necessary to count for their time. The market costs are estimated between $200 and $250 for a home energy report. And as I mentioned earlier, that's significantly less than having a comprehensive home audit done on a home. to have this powerful tool available to help market the home and have potential home buyers understand the improvements made to the home and how the home is using energy. So it's a good idea to review the report with the clients. Walk them through the report and what it means so that they have a good understanding of how the home's using energy, and if there's room and opportunity for improvement, that's a good way to discuss it with them. Look at the cost-effective upgrades and how it may affect their bottom line. And then the next step is to start using the home energy score, leverage the opportunity to help market the home and showcase the improvements in the energy efficiency of the home. So to include it in the MLS system, we have a few slides here to show you for examples within RMLS, MLS-CO, and SOMLS. So first up, we have the RMLS, who developed the ability for the City of Portland home energy scores to be entered into listings in a one-step automated process. So the automated data transfer process will reduce the steps required for realtors to make it simpler to comply with the City of Portland's home energy score rules. So the way that works is within the green energy supplement form, there's a one-click button that you can click on right here where it says load from green building registry, and that will bring the score and auto-populate the energy score, the date, and provide the link to the report by clicking on that button. And for those of you working within that market, if you haven't already seen this, there is a video available that demonstrates how this works, and I've got a link to the video right there. Now, if the automated button is not available because you're working outside of the City of Portland, let's see. Okay, if you're working outside of the City of Portland, within the RMLS, you simply go to the green energy supplement form and you can manually include the score by typing in the score and the date. And then you just need to copy and get the link from the assessor, this link right here, and copy that into the public remarks so that there is access to online access to that report. And then of course you can also upload attachments. So you can get a copy of the PDF by clicking on that link yourself, downloading it to your computer, and then uploading it as an attachment to the listing. And that's largely how it works in the other MLSs that we have. For example, here you include the score in Central Oregon MLS, MLS-CO, by pasting this link, which the assessor can provide to you once they've generated the score, into the marketing remarks, and then upload a copy of the home energy report, both front and back sides, or just the whole document to be included within the listing. And of course, you can also write out that the home received a home energy score of, and include the number. And here's a screenshot from Southern Oregon MLS intake form, and it's much the same process. Mention that the home received a home energy score of blank and paste the URL link. Now the URL link can be really helpful, especially once you have that. You can of course paste it into the listing like we're showing. You can also send that link to anybody to provide a copy of the report. That link is static and not going to change, and it will always display the most recent version of the report to anybody who receives the link. So that's very helpful. And that link, as we can see in the URL, takes one to a website known as the Green Building Registry. And this is another tool that's really good to be aware of and bookmark for your use. The Green Building Registry is an online database repository that we've developed at Earth Advantage to house energy scores and green certifications for homes throughout the country. So we're working with states and municipalities across the US to get all of the green home data in one location that's easy to search and get copies of for real estate professionals, for appraisers, and for home buyers and sellers to understand where those homes that have been approved, that are using less energy, that are sustainably built, where are they located, and what have they earned. So this is a great tool, and again, here's a link at the bottom of the page that you can bookmark, and that will take you to a public search page that's open to anybody to search. And you can search for a specific address in these fields to find out what a home has in terms of energy score or certifications. And then you can also click at the bottom for a map view. And that will show all the homes with a map of any specific area that have energy scores or certifications. And once you click on a specific address, over here on the right, we see an example of the home summary and what it'll look like. And we can see at the top of a Portland home where it's received a home energy score of 8. And then once again, here's that link that we've been talking about pasting into the MLS or emailing to somebody. You can get to this link yourself just by pulling up the address in the Green Building Registry if you're having a hard time connecting with the assessor to get the link. So let's have a quick look at the map view and how that works. If we click on the map view at the bottom of Green Building Registry, it will pull up a map of the area. In this case, we have the whole state of Oregon displayed, and wherever we see color, that is where there's either scores or certifications available, where you can drill down and zoom into the map and find out what's in the area. So you can filter it over on the right-hand side, and we can see what the different colors mean. We see a lot of red dots because Earth Advantage Home Certification has been there's been a lot of builders who've participated with that over the years across the state. There's also LEED certifications included. HERS ratings are in blue, and the home energy score is in green. So let's zoom in on Portland, and we can see that there's a lot of activity going on there, and all of those green areas are highlighting neighborhoods where there's concentrations of scores. So all you need to do is then zoom in on this map using the zoom feature to a particular neighborhood or a city outside of Portland to see what we have in the database. So this is going to, of course, grow over time. There's more and more information being loaded into it on a weekly basis, and we'll start to see green dots appearing all across the Oregon map in the near future as the assessors start entering more and more scores into the system. So that's Green Building Registry, and we hope you find that very helpful when it comes time to finding green or energy efficient high performance homes. So again, for using the score to help market the home, you can include the score or a link to the score in flyers, print advertising, or even yard signs. We see an example here of a realtor in Portland who included it on their yard sign, and we can see right here where they put the home earned an energy score of 9. So just to give you an idea of the traction that we have within the city of Portland and the Home Energy Score program there, we're going to have a quick look at the statistics and how many homes have been scored and how what we see in terms of savings potential and so forth. So these are statistics from fall of 2017 through the end of last month, August 2019. So we have 14,324 homes scored up through August 31st within Portland city limits. So we have quite a lot of data, and it's working really well, providing a lot of valuable information for home buyers and sellers. The all-time average of the current score for homes in that marketplace has fallen at a 4.6, so just slightly below the 5, and that's largely due to the fact that there are a lot of historic homes with opportunity for improvement within the city limits. So that just brings it down to a slightly lower than the 5 average that is the national average. If we look at the average score for homes after improvements, so this would be what is the average of that target score that we saw on page 2. It's a 7.3, so roughly a 3-point gain for installing cost-effective improvements. Now, when we look at lower scoring homes within the city of Portland and all of the data that we have, so homes that scored a 1, 2, or 3, they have a really big opportunity to improve their score and lower their energy use. So on average, homes that scored a 1, 2, or 3 initially have, with cost-effective improvements, the opportunity to increase their score by 4 points. And that translates into quite a sizable opportunity to save money on their utility bill. On average, for all the fuels, that would be $577 annual savings by installing those cost-effective improvements. Now, this is average on all the fuels. If we take into consideration only electric or oil-heated homes, this annual savings is well over $1,000. So if you have an older home that is not using natural gas, there's even more savings potential. So what support is available for homeowners to improve their home energy score? What programs are out there? And I'm sure many of you are well aware of our first example, and that is, of course, Energy Trust of Oregon. The Oregon Energy Trust of Oregon offers programs and for improving existing homes, and it's the best resource to help improve the efficiency of a home and move to a higher home energy score for homes that are located within the service territory of Energy Trust. And that's because financial incentives are available for certain upgrades to help offset the cost of improving the home. And they also have a great tool, which is for finding a contractor when it comes time to improve the home. There's a link at the top of their page where you can search their Trade Ally network and find contractors who are trained and well-versed in Energy Trust incentives and how to improve the home to really get the best bang for the buck and do the work right. And the Trade Ally contractors are also have a quality assurance program through their participation with Energy Trust of Oregon. So it's a great resource for finding qualified, good contractors to do the work. And for those of you working around the state where you're located outside of Energy Trust of Oregon's territory, serviced by the utilities participating with Energy Trust, Oregon Department of Energy has a great tool where you can find your utility that serves the area. So there's a link to this tool where it will identify if it's an rural electric co-op or other utility. And once you have identified the utility that serves the home, then you can go to that utility's website or contact them to find out what incentives are available for improving the homes. Now, if you'd like to have a little bit more examples of upgrade scenarios of what's happened and what's potentially happening in the Portland market, we do have a video available, which is linked down here, that gives some typical home upgrade scenarios for these types of homes, showing what they would score initially with certain characteristics, and if they were upgraded, how the score would change, and have those potential savings dollars identified. So that's if you have some time and like to see more information about typical upgrade scenarios, I recommend watching this video. So home upgrade financing, as we mentioned, one of the benefits of home energy score is it can help qualify for special financing to help pay for the upgrades. So Fannie Mae has what's called a Home Style Energy Loan. It's an excellent product for financing energy upgrades. Allows borrowers to finance energy efficient upgrades when purchasing or refinancing a home. And under the program, the borrowers can receive up to 15% of the as completed value of the home when they submitted a home energy report, such as home energy score. And we have an example on here of a home appraised for $300,000. Doing the improvements are expected to add another $20,000 in value. So that 15% of the as completed home value translates to a significant amount of money for improving the home, up to $48,000 in this example. So it can be a very excellent tool and resource to take advantage of when looking to make improvements on a home. And there's a link to the Fannie Mae program there at the bottom of the slide. Freddie Mac has the Green Choice Mortgage, which is very similar. Again, you can finance up to 15% of the as completed value with the home energy score report. There's FHA loans where borrowers can borrow more when they buy an energy efficient homes, and the lenders can provide a 2% stretch on their debt to income ratio when on purchase or refinance loans for homes with that have a home energy score that is 6 or higher, or if they can demonstrate that they're taking action to improve the home to have it score a 6 or higher, it would qualify for these FHA loans. And just another opportunity through Energy Trust of Oregon is income qualified services. The Savings Within Reach program makes it easier for moderate income households to make energy efficiency upgrades and participate with Energy Trust by helping them to save money on the energy efficiency home improvements and lower utility costs. On-bill repayment is available for customers of Portland General Electric, Pacific Power, and Northwest Natural, which the on-bill repayment allows homeowners to install energy efficient upgrades with low-cost financing, and then it's repaid through the energy bill. The affordable financing is available from a local lender called Craft 3 and lets you pay off the upgrades right away on the energy bill. So that takes us to our recap, and let's have a quick look at the resources available. Benefits of energy efficiency, which we've covered a couple times now. Lower operating costs, helps reduce carbon impact, provides a sense of pride and good feeling. Higher quality construction, more durable home with less maintenance costs. Now, more comfortable home, potentially more healthy home, and third-party validation from the HES scorecard. And this can translate potentially into higher resale value. So next steps, what can you do? You can provide guidance on energy efficiency during the purchase by using the home energy score to help your clients understand the energy use in a home, leverage it to help prioritize the upgrades with the recommendations, tap into incentives and energy efficient loan products. It also is great because it provides good documentation of the upgrades that you can use to help market the home. And you can also pursue more green training and credentials if you'd like, and I've got a link to some additional training opportunities in a couple slides. When you're working with clients, you can ask sellers if they had any home upgrades in the past that can be featured in a home sale, and have them make them aware and consider the possibility of getting a home energy score to help highlight those upgrades. For buyers, you can encourage them to look for energy efficient homes by seeking out homes with the home energy score. And then you can also help the buyers perhaps do the improvements using the suggestions on page 2 of the report after they purchase the home. So including a home energy score and a home sale, it's fast because it can be completed in a short period of time for the assessor, which translates into a lower cost score and report. It's simple, provides easy to understand and comparable information about the home's energy report, and is credible because it's backed by Oregon Department of Energy, and quality assurance is being done on the assessors and their process every year at a 5% quality assurance rate. And it's useful because it provides you with a marketing tool to help demonstrate and sell the energy efficiency of the home. So Oregon Department of Energy has a website with information. There's a link to the website here at the bottom, but they've got sections for consumers, for assessors who are thinking, or for people who are considering to become an assessor. There's a link there, and for communities. So the next page is what we would see if we click on for consumers. There's a fact sheet available here to help homeowners and realtors by providing essential program information for both buyers and sellers. And it's available. I also included a link there. And here's a list of training opportunities for those of you who are interested in learning more about energy efficiency or green certifications. Earth Advantage offers a number of courses, both in-person and online versions. So there's links here on this page for you to explore those if you're interested in learning more and advancing your knowledge about energy efficiency, high performance, and green homes. Disclaimer about our presentation today. And finally, I would like to thank Energy Trust of Oregon, who has been a proud sponsor of this training. So I want to thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your day. And here is the email that I mentioned at the beginning. If you have questions after today's webinar, something pops into your head that you didn't think of while you were watching the presentation, feel free to send us your question to this email address, and we'd be happy to answer it for you. So again, thank you for your time, and I hope you find the Home Energy Score useful and something that you can help your clients sell homes, or help your clients who are shopping find and identify energy efficient homes in a much easier way by looking at Oregon Home Energy Score and leveraging this program, as well as the Green Building Registry, to identify homes in your area.